I forgot. So that part we have covered in our last lecture. So what is the process of installation testing? It's a document provided. We are checking it line by line, whether any kind of ambiguity is there in the language, then we are filing that kind of a defect. Same way, uninstallation, whether it is hampering to the other processes, other softwares, files, folders or not, that we are going to check. Also, it's a document we are going to check. Then upgradation testing. So suppose one software is there, say suppose you have installed the Java version 1.5, okay, and now you want to go for upgradation to 1.7. So the files related to 1.5 are already there on your system. You are going to change only the updated part which is there in the version of 1.7, isn't it? So at the time of installation, whether you are properly prompted with the message ki if that particular software is not there on your system, then are you going to install it with the fresh copy, with the fresh particular files and folder, or if the earlier version is there on your system, you are going to change, you are going to make the changes in only those files which are getting updated. Okay, so that kind of upgradation you want to, you will be doing in case of upgradation testing. And suppose for example, uh, you are trying to install the version of 1.7, but already you are having the version 1.9. Okay, so what will be the error message in that case? So whatever the installation process, installation CD that you are having is the older version, and rather your system is already having updated version for this particular software. So all these three processes, that means fresh installation, second is upgrading from older version to newer version, and third is if already you are having newer version, whether that type of error message is coming on your screen that you are already having newer version, no need to go for this particular installation that is been carried out. So that kind of messages should be reached to the user properly, with proper documentation, with proper wording, so that any user can understand what your document, or if in case any kind of a message is coming, so that is been giving to the user. Okay, so this is installation testing. So that up to this point we have covered in the last lecture. Now the regression testing. So regression testing, we have seen some introductory part of regression testing last time. So that is nothing but the, like, regression testing intended to determine whether the changed components, whether the changed components have introduced any error in unchanged components of the system or not. So that you are going to check in case of a regression. So suppose for example, you are changing one particular function in your code, in your project. Okay, and it is giving some kind of input to output to you. But if, say for example, we will take one specific example, like you are having one particular method or procedure like name A, and its output you are giving to procedure B. Okay, so in case of A, procedure A or method A, you have found one particular error, and you have uh, changed some of the lines of code from the procedure A. Okay, so now the output which is been coming is in some kind of a different format which is not acceptable to the procedure B, suppose. Okay, so that you have to check whether any kind of changed components in one particular procedure, whether they have introduced any new error in another method or not. Okay, so this is nothing but the regression testing. Any changes made, are they hampering to the performance of other modules related to that particular module or not? So that is nothing but the regression testing. So it can be done at unit level, module level, and system level. So this you have to check at unit level, means for which particular part of that particular software that is being changed. So you are going to test that particular software at unit level. Okay, then module level. So it is the combination of many units. Okay, so if any kind of interdependency is there in case of modules, then also that particular dependent module you have to, or dependent unit you have to check. And third is system level. At system level you are going to check your particular product. So overall performance of the software present with you. Okay, so this kind of a testing you are doing at these three levels. Then coming to the next. Okay, so next is smoke testing. So it involves the basic functionality of software application. Yes, any problem? Okay, so it involves basic functionality of the software application development to ensure that the application is living and one can work with it. So application is living. That means it is in working position, not outdated version. Okay, so suppose for example, if you are now using Windows 10 and all, okay, and if somebody has given you the copy of Windows XP, okay, why XP? Because it was that time when it was XP was in the market. Everyone liked that particular GUI, the user friendliness of XP and all. Okay, but if you are given XP operating system now, will you be in the position to accept that? No. So you have to check whether the application is living and one can work with it. So suppose for like your generation, our generation, we were familiar or were like comfortable with XP. But now whether you people are comfortable with XP, no. Okay. So that means everyone can work with it, and whether it is in living application is living, so that you have to check. That is nothing but the smoke testing. Success of smoke testing is one of the entry criteria for system testing. So first of all, you have to check whether the system, overall system, is acceptable by the user. Okay, suppose your software is very much hard to handle, your user is not able to understand anything from the GUI given, or he is not able to understand anything. Like suppose for example, you are working on say image processing software. So how to insert images, which kind of images will be provided, what will be the output, your user is totally unaware of the system, then what is the use? Your user should be able to handle it properly. Then and then only we can say that it is easily acceptable from the user side. Okay, so that means one can work with it. If this is the condition, then you are passed in your smoke testing test. And this is nothing but the entry criteria for the system testing. So if you are going to test your system as a whole, This is the first criteria, that your smoke testing result should be okay. The system should be accepted by your end users. Then, if smoke testing fails, the system cannot be taken for further testing. So if your user is not in the position to work with the software, he will say, no, I'm not at all familiar with this particular software. That means your smoke testing results are getting failed. So if smoke testing itself is a fail, that means no need to go for further testing like system testing and all. Okay, so this is the first kind of a testing, which is the entry criteria for the system testing. Getting the concept? So this is the system testing. Next is the sanity testing. So sanity testing, it is used to test major behavior or the functionality of the application. So build on the verification testing. And if the sanity test fails, the application may be rejected without doing any further testing. So it is used to test major behavior or the functionality of the application. So mainly for what purpose this particular application is been built. So suppose like you are doing one particular software which is saving the details of your customer, okay, their transaction history. Or suppose, for example, you are done with some kind of a software which has been used for one particular shop, okay, and for that shop you are taking the entries from your user, what kind of a groceries that particular customer has taken. So all the billing process will be saved in your database, and you will be able to retrieve the bills of your customer at any moment of time. So this is what the functionality, okay, just like our malls, like Kautekar Mall is there in the Pandharpur, or any other malls or DMarts, like that. Okay, so suppose, for example, if you are going for the sanity testing of this software, so what is your first aim is whether the customer's information is been saved in the database properly or not. If yes, then the bill, say on the date 30th of August, 30th of August, will you be able to retrieve that bill with all the details of the contents that have been taken from your customer properly? Okay, so this is the aim of your software for which you have given the particular software to you, any of the developer, isn't it? So if you are not able to handle that software, or if you are not able to retrieve the details of the customer, like on 30th of August, what he had purchased, these kind of a details, if you are not able to, then what is the use? So this is nothing but the sanity testing, that is, you will be concentrating on the major functionality of the software, okay, whether the major behavior and the functionality of the software, is it working properly or not. If yes, then you can proceed further. Okay, till that time, no. So sanity testing and smoke testing, these are the, we can say that both of these are the entry criteria for system testing. If it is passed in these two, then and then only you can go for checking the system as a whole. Okay, then next is ad hoc testing, which is a very important one, important in like suppose some of you are going for, say, testing stream, okay, not development and all other things, but testing, that how the ad hoc testing is being done from your side, that is the major thing. How you can handle your software and how you are going to find out the number of bugs just by ad hoc testing. So that is you are going to check. So it is done without any formal test plan. You are not having any kind of a test plans with you. What is test plan? So here some kind of a scenarios will be given to you. You have to follow those steps, and if in those steps you are finding any kind of a error, defect, then you are going to file that defect. Okay, but here in case of ad hoc testing, you are not having any kind of a formal test plan or the test scenario or the test cases or the test data. You are not having anything with you. You are new to that particular project, that particular software, and you are going to handle that project or handle that software like anything. Clicking anywhere, checking the logos, checking all the URL, everything you are doing with that particular software, and you are trying to find out as many number of defects as you can. So this is nothing but the ad hoc testing, which is also called as a exploratory testing or monkey testing or random testing. Already the name is given as a monkey testing. Monkey, why? Because monkeys are not having any idea of what to do with, say, anything other than eating the bananas. Whether monkeys are aware of any other things? No. If any monkey is um, um, allowed to sit in front of a laptop, what he will do? He will do anything. He is going to click on any part of your page. He is doing anything with your software, isn't it? So that type of testing you are going to do in case of ad hoc testing. You are doing just like I just now I told you that you are going to click on anywhere on the web page, then checking each and every URL, checking each and every button. If the text fields are given to you, you are trying to input any kind of a data. So suppose digital data like mobile number field is there. So you're going to put any what, any letters over there. Okay, and if letters are there like the field name, address, not address but name, is any person having the name like ABC123? No. Okay, no digits are entertained in case of first name, middle name, last name, right? So whether your text field is accepting that kind of a data, if yes, then proper checks should be there with your system. So all these kind of things are coming under the ad hoc testing. So it is having some advantages as well as some disadvantages also. So advantages, it is giving you maximum number of errors. You are navigating through all the pages, and there you are finding any kind of a number of bugs over there. Okay, and you will be able to find out as many number of bugs as you can. But the disadvantage is for this, like, you must be having some kind of a screen recorder with you. Otherwise which particular path you have followed to find that particular defect. If you are trying to come to that particular defect once again, then it will be difficult if you are not having a proper procedure or any kind of a screen recordings with you. Okay, so after doing this kind of random things with your software, you should be able to uh, aware of what type of steps you are done with that particular software. So this is the disadvantage. Then usability testing is there. So what is usability? So it checks the ease of use of an application, how much easy your application is to be used by the user, your customers. Okay, so it involves using user guide, user manuals, including online help. So any of the software will be having the user guide or user manuals with it. So if on the front page you are having some buttons like submit, clear, all these things. Okay, so what is the functionality of submit button, what is the functionality of clear button, or what is the version you are using? So all these kind of a help you can get with that particular software. You can check on your system also that if even if you are using the Word, Excel, PowerPoint also, so in that also you are having the separate menu item as a help. So help will be giving you all the details of anything where you are going to stuck. Okay, so this user guide or user manual you are going to test, and also how much easy your software is, that you are going to test under this. Fine. So it is applied to determine whether it is simple to understand the application usage and easy to execute an application. So that is nothing but the usability testing. Okay. Then coming to the next is acceptance testing. So finally, if you are going through all these procedures, finally you are coming to the state whether your software is getting accepted from your end user or not. Fine. So that is why this is done by the user or the customer to understand whether the software satisfies their requirements or not, and to confirm it is fit for use. So if these next levels of testing are getting passed, then your software will be accepted from your end user or the customer. So there are 3 levels of acceptance testing, that are nothing but alpha testing, beta testing, and gamma testing. So we are going to see them one by one. First is alpha testing. Okay, so alpha testing, it is done by the customer at development site and in a development environment. Okay, so what does it mean? Your end user will be coming to your company, okay, where your developers are, and then he will be checking the application at developers side only in the development environment. Development environment means what? Suppose for example, you are working on one particular server, and that server is handling, say for example, 1000 other users. Okay, 1000 other users, that means the load on your server will be very much high. So what is necessary is your server will be with high configuration, and it should be there with a proper room which is provided with ACs, air conditioners, to for the cooling process of your server. Otherwise it will get heated, and then definitely it will get harm to your server machine, isn't it? So this is the environment. So at the time of creating that type of a server, definitely you are as a developer, you will be having that kind of an environment with you, like this particular room is air conditioned. Maybe one AC is not sufficient, two ACs are there, with restricted entry from outsiders. Only one or two people should be allowed in that particular server room, or such kind of um, conditions may come in existence. So if your customer want to check the overall setup, he will come to the development site, where the development environment is been built. Environment is what? Like this, the server room, the air conditioners provided, and all those things. Okay. So it helps in training of key users about the system. So as a user or your customer, not all the people or the financier of the software will be coming to the development site. Okay, only the key user. If that particular end user who is giving the money, if he is the key user, no matter. So key user is what? Who is having some kind of a knowledge of that software, okay, and how to handle that, some these basic details with him. Okay, so whenever he will be coming to the development side, he will be getting more and more idea about the system and its a usage. Testing is done as per the business scenario. So whatever he will be saying, this is the business strategy and all. So according to that, the testing will be done. So the advantages of this particular alpha testing are, it helps in training of key users. Just now, this point is been elaborated. Then fast way of getting the approval from the customer. Okay, so your customer will be in front of the system, and he will be checking your the overall system whether it is working properly or not. So if everything is fine, he will say okay, the system is acceptable. So it is the fast way of getting the approval from the customer side. Then prima facie problems can be found and fixed immediately before the system is being delivered to the customer. Prima facie means the problems which are seen in at a first glance. Okay, so if you have created one website and in the logo you have used some other color because of some kind of a mistake or what, the logo is not at its proper position where the customer told you to set. So these are the prima facie problems. Okay, so these are found at this primary level only, so that they can be fixed immediately before giving the product to the end user or your customer. Then it improves the confidence about product delivery. So if these key users are happy with your software, definitely you will feel confidence up at the time of delivering your whole product to your customer. Still, it is having some disadvantages, like laboratory environment may not represent the real life environment. So suppose for example, I am having the facility of say a server room of 10 by 10, then air conditioner, then maybe double air conditioners and some other facilities I have given for that server. But there may be chances, see, or say for example, it is been developed in the cities like Kolhapur, where the environment is comparatively cooler one than that of Solapur. So if you are creating your software at Kolhapur and giving it to the customer from the cities like Solapur or say Nagpur, where the conditions like hotness in the environment is very much higher, having 4-5 degrees more temperature in those cities. Okay, so if one AC air conditioner is sufficient in case of Kolhapur, here in case of Nagpur also you may need 2 ACs. Okay, so here the laboratory environment may not represent the real life environment, or vice versa. You have given 2 ACs at the development site if it is present at Nagpur, and you are giving your software to the person from Kolhapur. Okay, at that time, the person will not be able to sit in the server room with 2 ACs. So this is the condition. So you have to think about the real life environment as well. Then key users may not be the actual users who are going to use the system. So you have sent some of the people who are the key users, but they are not the actual users who are going to use the system. Then that is of no use. So you have to give proper knowledge to these key user first. Then key user will interact with your final customers and all these things. So it will be time consuming also. So this is nothing but the alpha testing, which is done at the development site. So based on these primary things, you may be asked some kind of a MCQs on this question, on this bit. Next is the beta testing. So in case of a beta testing, it is done at user's site and in user environment by the key users. So it is done by the key users itself, but here your product will be given to the user, your end user, and it will be done, the testing will be done at his place, user's place only, as per his environment. So you are there in Kolhapur, then you have to go to the Nagpur, and then you have to check whether the system is working properly or not. Okay, so you have to go to the customer's environment and then check your system. So this is how the beta testing will be done. Then here in this case, the system behaviors are compared with the existing system and validated. So suppose you are having the existing systems with that particular software, so it will be compared with that and validated. That means checked with the advantages with the newer system. The advantages of this kind of testing are, it helps in identifying the gaps between actual work environment and configured environment. So if you are doing some kind of a setup with your software, so actual work environment means at the user side and development environment, if any configurations are done, then the gaps between these two will be identified by using beta testing. Then it helps in finding the usability aspects of application. Okay, so absolutely the usability from the end users will be checked at this level. And any after sales service requirements are there, then those can also be identified. Means suppose after giving your software, suppose you need to give some other kind of a help to your customers, so your so what type of support you have to give to your customers, so that can also be identified at this level. So these are the advantages. In case of a disadvantages, actual users may not be the users trained by the developing organization. So here, whatever the users are coming, those are again be different from the actual users. Okay, so suppose you are testing washing machine. Okay, so only the company people will check the working of washing machine, or the uh, retailers. Okay, but whether in practice are they giving or are they loading your dirty clothes in the machine like the customers or the ordinary people? No, they will be checking the system with some specific type of clothes only. They are not handling the software or the machine like anything, or like any user is handling. Okay, so that is why the actual users may not be the users trained by the developing organizations. Then changes in user requirements may change future requirements. So here at this stage, suppose your user is changing the requirements, then it may change the future requirements as well. So according to those requirements, you have to go for changing the product itself. Okay, so these are the disadvantages. So this is nothing but the beta testing. Next is gamma testing. So gamma testing is what? So product given to the targeted user to receive their feedback about the product. So you are actually giving your product to your customers, end users. So success of gamma testing gives the users view about the product. So these are the end user. You have given one washing machine to your customer. Then how much satisfaction, how much rating is been given from those customers, that will be checked. And if they are satisfied, they are giving 5 out of 5 stars to your product, definitely it will be the success of your work. Otherwise, many times, like on Amazon, on Flipkart, what you people are doing is, before purchasing any of the product, you are checking the comments from the users. If they are satisfied with the product, your percentage of purchasing that product will be higher. Suppose you want to buy one washing machine, say for the company LG. Okay, So you will go to the website, check the ratings from the LG users, LG customers. Then they will be saying, okay, this product is very good. It is working properly on very much dirty clothes. Um it is consuming less electricity, reasonable for the pocket. So overall the rating he has or the other users have given like 5 out of 5, then you will be satisfied. But if you are going for any other product and they are saying, oh, they are saying like 5-star product is there, but still it is consuming more and more electricity. So after using that particular product, my electricity bill is been increased with 500 rupees. So definitely you will think about it. काय झालं? Just a minute. Hello. Okay. Some kind of message has come on the screen. Okay, not an issue. So are you able to see my screen and everything? Any problem? I don't think so. Okay, let me finish up with this point. Sign-up का message आ रहा है. Then success of gamma testing. Uh, gives users views about the product. Um, Also called as a limited market testing. The advantages of this are it helps to identify the gaps between the market research analyst definition of requirements and the key user requirements, then ensures the application works in business environment with live data. And disadvantages are actual users may not be the users trained by the developing organization. Uh, for handling the system. So changes in user environments may not be captured as each user may have different setup and configuration for the system. So implied requirements may not have been covered during the requirement elicitation, but may give problems in the testing. So this is the testing which is done with final users. Getting the concept? So just now we have discussed like whatever the feedback that is been coming from your end user, according to that the success of the gamma testing will be done. And if finally you are done with alpha beta gamma testing and the overall product is been accepted from your end user, you will be your whole product will be having good rating. Okay, so all these type of a testing will be covered under system testing. Getting the concept? So now if you have any doubt, you can post your queries on the group here. Do you have any problems? So we are ending with this particular unit, fourth unit system testing, as well as we are ending with the first section of subject STQA. So any doubt is there? Any problem? If no problem, post your attendance in the chat window and you can leave now, because I think next lecture link is already been shared and it is creating some problem with my Zoom meet over here. Messages are coming on my page. At any moment of time, I may get signed out. So please be fast, put your attendance and leave. And then you can join the other session. All the remaining participants, Akanksha Deshpande, Sonia Kagde, Kajal Kharade, Geeta Kolwar, Sanyogita Jagtap, Snehal Pujari, Prashant Jalgire and Monali Shinde. Put your attendance fast and you can leave the meeting. I forgot to say Happy Diwali to all. So convey my message to your friends also that I wish a very happy Diwali to all of you, and definitely hearty congratulations to all those who have selected, and have a blast in the Diwali. Enjoy yourself, take care of yourself and your family. Happy Diwali once again. Thank you.